Unlike any episode of the Taco Podcast in the past, today I'm here to give you a warning, a stark warning that I hope that every one of you who watches this episode takes to heart and thinks before they act. When it comes to finding services for those who may be on the autism spectrum, please be aware that there are more scams out there and groups that will promise, well, they'll promise you everything, but can deliver very, very little. Over the course of the last year, me and my wife have been pitched multiple different, groups, organizations, services from different groups that have absolutely no, medical background to them at all. They're just scams. They promised, services or devices or something for our son who's on the autism spectrum, and they can't deliver any of it. They're not after just our copay. They're after the big money. They're looking for, state assisted, payments for Medicare, Medicaid. They're looking for that private insurance money. That's what they're after. They don't care necessarily about the $25 copay that we have. These groups are after the bigger fish. Again, insurance money. We've seen it all and gotten it all. Flyers in our mailbox that say that they can help, with services or things for our son. We've, received emails, phone calls from different groups and organizations that tout everything. We can get your son a specialized, Apple iPad with a program that has been proven to help, those who are speech delayed. Or maybe it's we have a therapeutic, session here in person that helps. Along with that, we have a regimen of not yet FDA approved medication that, your son can take, but it's not sold at a pharmacy. You can only get it here from us. It's all a scam. The names that you now see on your screen are the groups that we've been in contact with, and every one of them is a scam. But rest assured, you're not going to be able to find these groups because just as quickly as they set up a storefront or location, they're gone or they changed the name. Just as quickly again as they set up. I don't want to make people think that they're just a fly by night organization. They're still there. They're still there in the same location. They just changed their name because he got brought on by an insurance agency. Someone started asking too many questions. If you can take nothing from this video at all, it's to be very, very aware of what people are promising, especially in this day and age, where the head of the health department for the United States of America is telling people that autism is caused by vaccines, caused by acetaminophen, it's caused by, this or that. I have no idea what he's going to say causes autism tomorrow. Maybe he'll blame it on frozen concentrated orange juice, since the manufacturers of frozen concentrated orange juice are discontinuing it around the world. Maybe he's going to say that that's the next cause of autism. I don't know because it's all a lie. You can't change the DNA of someone by taking acetaminophen. You can't change the DNA of someone by taking a vaccine. You can't take and change you can't change the DNA of someone by drinking concentrated orange juice. But these groups will push it right to the line. saying that they know what caused it and they have not a cure, but they have something that will help. We like to call this the Jenny McCarthy theory. In case you're not familiar with this B list, D list celebrity, Jenny McCarthy, over the years, she's touted that she has cured her son, who is on the autism spectrum, by massive doses of beta carotene. She said that she also cured her son by giving him massive doses of vitamin C. The only people who fall for that and believe any of that, what she had to say or what JFK Jr. has to say, is those who believe it don't understand science. Look, if I could change my son and cure my son of autism, I don't know if that's a cure. I don't think there should be a cure. But if I could remove some of his barriers, would I do it? Yes. But would I cure him? No. No, I wouldn't. Because of the sheer fact that his uniqueness, his bubbly attitude, and him just being generally happy all the time is a breath of fresh air for the world. Not just my life, but everyone he meets, everyone he comes in contact with. He's so happy, particularly in this day and age, with everybody keeping their head down and they're so miserable by the news cycle out there of everything that is going wrong. Do you really need to cure someone of that? Or is it a uniqueness that should be embraced and then put on a pedestal and explored and celebrated by the world? I think it's more that one than a disability that is something that needs to be cured, a disease. But again, back to these groups. These are just a few of the groups. These are the ones that we've looked into personally and who've been barraging us with emails, physical mail, calls. I don't know how they get our numbers, but these people out there, that's what they do. They pay for a list of phone numbers and contacts, and then they just keep on and on and on until you say yes, or you give them your money, or you give them your insurance information so they can come after that money. Hey, we did this much therapy for this person or this child or whatever it might be. That's where the big money is. That's what they're after. And yes, each and every one of these groups we have reported to the authorities that look into insurance, fraud. But like I said, these are their names today, and they're gone tomorrow. Each and every one of these groups had an actual physical storefront with these names on it, and then days later, the name changed. Is it the same group? You can bet it is, because nothing else changed. According to Google Maps, we see the same cars in the parking lot. Yeah. The same people are there. They just changed the name on the door, changed the name on the PO box mail dropping. But it's the same people. And they're probably touting something else, some other cure, some other fix. Moved on. Maybe now they're working on, Down syndrome, or maybe they're working on mental health, for the nation. But it's all still a scam. And they're going to take everything they can from you. One group in particular that's on this list, Valley Therapeutic Services, by far the most egregious of them all. We found them operating underneath 5 different names internationally. And yes, I mean internationally. We found them in Canada. We found them in the greater London area in the UK. We found them in France. We found them in Mexico. We found them obviously all over the United States. They are operating on multiple different names, but the parent company, according to what we can figure out, is Valley Therapeutic Services is the top, name, and then they have all these other smaller groups underneath them, but they all use the VTS somewhere, either at the end or incorporated or somewhere along that. If you look at the actual business structure, but see that brings up another issue altogether. Besides the fact that we know these are scams and these companies are bogus and they can't do anything. But what they can do is take your money. But who's going to look into it? Are you? Tomorrow afternoon, you hurt your arm, and the doctor says go to this, physical therapist, to rehab your arm so you can get back to full, mobility with your arm. Are you going to go and jump online and look up every business associated name with that therapeutic place? No. You got to be diligent. You have to find someone out there that's going to look into these things for you and give you an unbiased review of it. I suggest you start, if you're here in America, with the Better Business Bureau. Try these names out on your Better Business Bureau at your state level and look. Then, after that, Google the company itself. Or find an advocate out there, like me and my wife, who will look into these companies, who will, research and see if they're scams or not. And FYI, for all those people out there who have a general practitioner, doctor, family doctor, a lot of you are putting your child on medications that they don't need. But again, every one of these groups are running a scam. First, they're after your money, your copay, your upfront money. Then they're looking to sell you things that the insurance can tell you the insurance company won't cover, but they know it'll help you or it'll help your child, and it'll be the most beneficial thing that you can do. But it's a scam. They don't even come through with the actual devices themselves. They may have one or two that they have around in an office someplace, or if you meet them, that they can show you a demo of. But that's all they have. You pay up front for it. You're never going to get the device because tomorrow, again, the name changed. You show up at Valley Therapeutic Services, on a Monday. They show you the devices. It looks cool. It looks like it could help. You put up your money. You write them a check. Give them your debit card, whatever. You give them cash. Thursday, they're gone. They don't have your money. There's another business there. It's a therapeutic place, but it's not Valley Therapeutic Services. Where they go, we don't know. But down, one city over, they just shuffle the people, the personnel between the two. You're never going to get your money back. You're never going to get the device. It's all a scam. Be aware. You have a great day. You stay safe out there.